she's bringing in a bit of fill from outside the gate, and sounds nice, I have to say. I'm able to leave it ticking over when I'm unloading the transfer box because it's not shooting all the fumes in my face. So it's been running there for about a good 40 minutes, bringing in. I brought in 3 boxes, so I'm happy enough with how that sounds. Put on the heat shield. So yeah, I'll definitely buy a new silencer for one anyway, and just have it as a spare and try it out as well. I might do another little bit of work on it just to see if I can get it a little bit quieter. So I'm after bringing her on a little spin around a few of the roads there, get it good and warm. I just got another little quick load, literally just reversed in whatever was in. I brought with me. So that's her now at good operating temperature now. I've got a good rev on the main road. Sounds like it's running fairly well. Need to get the heat shield back on it now, but I'll do that when I take off the exhaust. We'll have to take that off to get into the shed here. So for fun, I've taken off the vertical exhaust from the 20 diesel, and I'm going to try and fit it onto this and see, does it actually sound any different, sound any better, and then we can base our decision then on whether or not to go ahead with trying to work with the vertical exhaust on the gold belly full time. Now the diesel one exhaust, I actually had to cut it to get into the shed, so I don't know if I fit it on this, if it can still get out the door. Maybe this tractor is higher because the rear tires are definitely bigger anyway, so I've never actually tried this. I don't know where it fit, but it's sealed. It feels really loose there. So there's a sleeve I think I took off for that. If it's going to be very loose on it, it's just not going to be worth it. It's going to be noisy and all of that. Most likely is because there's a split there in that, and that is definitely going to leak, but at the same time we probably need it to help it seal. So it does fit nicely. So if I was to make another one of them at the right length, we'll say it's just a bit short, probably would seal, and we'll be able to give this a better chance of being a possibility. Yes, just don't want that split in the sleeve to be lining up with the split in the silencer. This we found was a lovely silencer on the diesel. It's quiet. I'd say it'll probably be leaking on this. Petrol engines are just a little bit more fussy as well. Okay. So I've noticed the last few times I started this, it's a bit spitty because I don't leave it long enough running on petrol, and there's a bit of kerosene in it, and that seems to just cause it to be spitting. So I had it running for a good while yesterday. Did turn it back to petrol, but I don't know if it was back long enough. So if it's not, well, there's one way of finding out. That's just to drain a bit. This is drain a bit in there from the bowl, see, to make sure it is. That's definitely better than that. So hopefully I won't be eating my words. Hopefully I won't be spitting the fire. Yeah, there was still some kerosene in it, that's why it's smoky. But it doesn't actually seem to be leaking. Now the question is, will it get out under that door? Because if it gets out under that door, could be a possibility for using. Just about. It wasn't cut exactly straight, as you can see, so I might just straighten that up and then it should do. And there is weight in the transfer box as well. Maybe that's a little job worth doing. Doesn't be long, getting very, very hot. I'll have this off actually, I should put on the heat sheet. And that'll make it even hotter. So yeah, we'll definitely be able to get in and out the door with this, with a tiny bit of modification. Kind of an enamel paint, and I find it likes to crack, so I just want to hold it nice and gently in the device. I might put the flat disc on the grinder and just grind that a little bit flatter, because straighter I should say. It's just, I think I might be able to just take the edge off that, because we don't want it catching the door. It'd be nice to be able to try it out and see. I don't know if it sounds better than the old one or not, but there's only one way of finding out, and that is to use it. Okay, so another reason why this thing, the last few times I've started it, is a bit lumpy is not enough of that in it. That's a lot of it. So I ran out of petrol there. I just wanted to start it and test it again. When I checked it, I was out of petrol. So it probably needs a certain amount of petrol in it, I suppose, to run, so I will get it right. So I've straightened up the exhaust a little bit on it now. It looks a lot flatter. There's a bit of stuff in the transfer box as well, so that will lift up the front a little bit. So, you know, it'll be a better test for it, like, you know, worst case scenario. I know with the 20 diesel, I always had to reverse it in for some reason. I think when the front got up on the ramp here, we'll say just as the floor begins, it's higher, but that used to catch. So I might be able to reverse out. I'll try to drive back in. But at this stage of the game, I think I'm just going to cut it to length to hell, because I'm sick of it hitting the door. So we'll give it another quick start. Test. Just got in by a hair's breadth now, really, but that's good news. It's pissing rain outside, groom, grown, rotten, so it's not kind of even to be going at my fill, but I just said I'd chance it and see. So what I'll do is I'll just simply just leave it on, I put the heat shield on, I'll leave it on and use it, and basically we'll see how it works. So I'll just compare the length of it to the, I'll have to come way back to be able to show you the height of it. We'll just get the original style one. So it's definitely a foot shorter. So that's definitely what we need to lift this door by, you know, a foot and a half. We'll have to strengthen it as well, because when we get bad winds coming in there from the Atlantic, the whole front of the shed does start coming inward. So whenever I go lifting, I'm going to have to go strengthening. But starting to come up onto the green on the temperature gauge. So we have a bit of weight on the back, and that does, I find, lift it very slightly. So it's a good test. So we'll definitely try it. I know originally from factory these are meant to be kind of a white colour, I think. It wouldn't last very long on a vaporizer, or silver even, I don't know. According to this one anyway, I know that's not very accurate, but it's white. So we'll try it out. It'll be interesting, and this is what it's all about. It's about just finding the sweet spot that'll be usable, sound the best. She's definitely purring away there nice anyway. So that's grand. Throw the pallet underneath that, just keep it up off the ground a bit and stop any of that stuff falling out. And in the meantime, I'm going to go returning to the part. So I have a few videos up on overhauling these three starters. I already overhauled that. I think there's videos, should be videos on that as well. So in the meantime, I was looking up part numbers. This one particularly here, 250 038. That and M35G, that is the perfect replacement for this. So I believe, according to the workshop manual. Now, I think what's in there is older. Because if we look, I'll try and get underneath and shine a torch up. It's dated as well. 452. So that is definitely earlier. And if we look on our distributor, we see V151 will be 653. So that's definitely after getting replacement starter. Our dynamo, I think, is 1952 as well. 12 volt, 1059. 59. So that's interesting. So it looks like all of these were replaced at some point in its life. So we were saying this one here is correct. We'll disregard the back because that was a later addition, say overhauled. But part number 25038B is correct for the 35. Now that's massive Ferguson 35. It's probably different. I can't find a workshop manual for this. And this is a 25038H. Okay, and it says, is there an M on it as well? M56 or something like that. Regardless, it's most likely. That's definitely earlier. Judging by that, we have a little oil leak just below that filler. And I'd say that's coming out our bolt, I think. It's usually where they come out. As you can see, the gasket going behind, I had that off before. I find these bolts, because they're a kind of a coarse thread, can leak, so I'll take that off and I'll sort that now. I have a little trick for them. I should be able to get a socket on that easy. How about we sort that out now? What does it say about the present? Less time is the present. There's a very, very, very easy way of sorting these, and the Ferguson 20 diesel also suffers from something similar. So we'll put on our 1/2 inch socket. I'm able to get it on. Could be a little bit awkward. Hopefully I won't take out the starter. Get a bit tight there now, don't like hitting the starter. So we'll just see if we can get it out easily enough. It's turning there now. A little bit tight, but we'll get it slowly. So the 20 diesel suffers on the tappet inspection plate, also where this is attached on the 20 diesel, the oil filler. And what I do is I put a ring of, I put copper washers. I put copper washers instead of these, because these are that split pin, the split pin, and the oil can come out through that. So I'll get a copper washer and come back. So, copper washer. There's no time like the present, that's the saying. So I had this off, sanded it down flat, made a new gasket, put Indian head on it. It's not leaking, there's no way. There's no pressure on it at all. The oil does come through the threads on these. Off with the spring washer. Doesn't need it. Not that important that it needs a spring washer on it. On with copper washer. Just because they're coarse thread. Lovely. And somewhere else it leaks as well is through the coarse thread on the coil as well, the coil studs. Well, I replaced one of them with a bolt, and that's half the reason as well. So while we're at it, Well, I suppose I can't really put a copper washer on this side of the bracket, but I'm not too fussed. That's not too bad, but you can see nearly the rest of them are a little bit the same as well. So I think we might give them the same treatment, but because it's holding the bracket, it might be a little bit easier said than done. So for now, we'll just give them a tighten up, and if I have to put some Indian head on the treads, that's probably better. That's probably actually that's what I'm doing. No point rubbing it every day to see it's leaking. So we got our Indian head. Yeah, and you can see there that the oil is just making its way down. We'll put a bit of plumber's tape on it either, to be honest. That's actually what I will do. I don't know if Indian head is going to go sorting that. I think Indian head needs to be between gaskets and stuff. Probably would. This is no big deal, but I just like this kind of maintenance work, to be honest. That's the only reason why I'm doing it. Don't really like using plumber's tape in general, but for the likes of this, it's not fuel or anything like that. So I'm not too fussed really. Not too fussed. It's not going to do any harm at all. Let's put a bit on it. No pressure on it. It's literally just whatever is coming down along the treads, that's all. Sure. For the sake of a couple of seconds, we get another small little leak sort. Did notice there was a bit of oil knocking about. The copper washer just won't work on this, unfortunately. It's a little bit awkward to get through the bracket and into the hole straight. We're in Ireland's worstly lit shed. Worst lit shed. If that works, I'll go and do the other one beside it there, but that one doesn't seem to be wet, is it? No. After that, we're okay. Our filter housing underneath is dry. I had awful problems with them on the Ferguson 20 diesel. The body of it was a little bit warped, being aluminium, and I had to go make gasket after gasket and flatten it and flatten it and flatten it to try and stop the leaking. It was a bit of a pain. So they're just two small little jobs that I can see need to be done. Our petrol's still on, so we'll switch him off. I noticed we're getting a bit of a fuel leak up there above the doughty washer. I don't like over tightening these because I know the treads on this side are not great. That's why I use doughty washers, because they usually will seal without needing that much pressure. So little tighten, little rub around it, and just keep an eye on it. If it keeps leaking, take it off, clean it all up, fit on another doughty washer. Sometimes they're not tight enough, they can just start moving very slightly the vibrations of this leak. They're usually fantastic. The oil grease on this, no harm to rub it into the bonnet every now and again as well. The best thing for it. So that's just something small, a little follow-up, we'll say, on the vertical exhaust, and basically experimenting a little bit with what we have here and what we can use and how it sounds and how it looks. I do prefer that one, but as I said, I'm not. You get sick of taking it off every time you have to come in the door. So we'll use away at that one, and if it's dry tomorrow evening, I'll be able to bring in a bit more fill, and we'll see what it's like up to temperature. And we have our heat shield back on as well. So I don't like running it on kerosene without that. So that's cool. We'll get back to the other set of videos on the parts. What will we go at? I think I might go at the Kai gas. So I'm going to leave it there for this evening for this vertical exhaust set of videos on the Gold Belly, and I'm going to return to the Ferguson 20 diesel job lot of parts I got, and I think this lad is next for shaving.